Why does Berlusconi sound Italian when he speaks in English? Let's take a closer look. Hey guys, this is Jeff with Fluent American, and today we're analyzing a little speech given by Berlusconi some time ago. And I think it's a great model because a lot of the things he's doing are very similar to what many Italians do in American English as well. So let's kind of analyze his speech patterns, and you can see whether or not you speak Italian yourself if you are doing any of these things, because I guarantee you it's not just Italians who struggle with some of these things in American English pronunciation when trying to sound natural. So we're going to take a look at the speech. I'll provide some quick feedback as I hear it.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President.
Notice that for speaker, he's not holding that R at the end. You want to hold that R, make it a little stronger. So it's not speaker, it's more speaker.
Speaker, Mr. Vice President.
Also for vice, you want to hold that S on a little longer. Vice President, Mr. Vice President. And of course, these long I sounds. You want to watch out for those long I's and short I's as well. So for instance, it's not Mr., it's more Mr. Mr. in American English, Mr.
Distinguished member of Congress.
Same thing there with distinguished. So it's not distinguished, it's more distinguished, distinguished. Also notice how he says Congress. It's more Congress, but it's more Congress. Congress, that ah sound for the O, and then linking the GR more, gris, gris.
Distinguished member of Congress. It is an extraordinary honor.
It is. In American English, you're going to see more fast D sound and more linking. It is. It is. And then also watch that pronunciation for extraordinary. Extraordinary. A couple things are happening there. So with the TR, you're getting like a tra. Extra. Also notice that the next syllable after that just becomes linked like an or. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Notice also the DN. So it's not extraordinary, it's more extraordin. It's kind of like a held, it goes right to the end sound. Extraordinary.
To be invited, speak before you.
A little bit of the roll on the before, that final R. Notice that in American English, this is going to be before, just a strong Yeah, in American English, you're just not going to roll your R as much.
In the Capitol building. One.
That's how he says capital, but it's more capital. This is another thing that a lot of, not just Italian speakers, a lot of people learning English do, is that they, or don't do, I should say, they don't reduce syllables enough. So instead of capital, it's more capital. A lot of times that middle syllable will get reduced to a schwa. Capital.
Of the great temple of democracy.
A little bit for great. So you can hear him say gray, but it's more great. And democracy, a little bit wider on the ah, democracy.
I speak in representation in the name of a country.
A little bit for name. He had a little bit too much exaggeration on that final m. So he says like in the name, but it's more name. It's more kind of like a held consonant afterwards. You're not going to drag out and release. So it's not name, it's more name. In the name of. Also, he doesn't need to do it here because he's speaking a little bit slower. He's delivering a speech. But if you were saying this a little bit faster, when you say name of, you'd probably link the M on name with the O of. It's like name of. Instead of name of, more name of.
That is a deep friendship.
How about that pronunciation of friendship? So instead of friendship, it's more friendship. And a lot of times that D sound actually gets truncated and removed. So you could just say friendship, not even pronounce the D if you really wanted to.
With the United States and is bound to your country.
Notice again for country, again, TR sounds, you want more of a tra. It's like a CH with an R, tra. Country. So it's not country, it's more country.
By ties which go back.
So again, ties is more of an I sound. Ties. It's not ties, it's more ties. And then which with the short I sound. So it's not which, it's more which. Ties which.
Many centuries.
Again, centuries had that tr sound, not centuries. It's more centuries, centuries, many centuries, many centuries.
Many American citizens have...
Again, schwa sounds and short eyes. So like instead of American, it's more American. American. And this is also indicative of kind of a syllable time language like Italian and a stress time language like English. American, there's one stress syllable, amer. In Italian, you'd be more likely to pronounce kind of every syllable with like equal weight, like American, but it's more American. American in American English. The mer gets a lot of weight. Everything else gets said a little bit faster. American. So it's not American, it's more American. You also see that for citizen. Citizen, that T takes fast D sound because it's surrounded by vowels. And then you have those short I's around it. So it's not CT, it's more citizen. Citizen. The second I will get reduced to a schwa. Citizen. Citizen.
Have Italian roots.
And also in American English, instead of Italian, it'll be more Italian. Italian. That first I often gets reduced to a schwa or at least a short I sound. Italian. Italian or Italian.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, distinguished member of Congress, it is an extraordinary honor to be invited to speak before you in the Capitol building, one of the great temples of democracy. I speak in representation in the name of a country that has a deep friendship with the United States and is bound to your country by ties which go back many centuries. Many American citizens have Italian roots. For them,
here is how I would read the same speech. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, distinguished member of Congress, it is an extraordinary honor to be invited to speak before you in the Capitol building, one of the great temples of democracy. I speak in representation in the name of a country that has a deep friendship with the United States and is bound to your country by ties which go back many centuries. Many American citizens have Italian roots. I think this speech highlights a lot of things I see a lot of Italian speakers do regarding, stress time versus syllable time languages, short I sounds, schwa sounds, those TR sounds become like tr. These are all things you'd want to be paying attention to in American English.